All right, well, hello.
Howdy.
Howdy.
We are currently filming a video talking about our adventures in Indonesia. It was a really special trip for me and obviously for these guys as well. This is my second time going back to Surabaya, and so it was really, really cool. The part of the trip was was way more, I'd say, relationships driven. We definitely got our tourism fill, but we weren't always constantly running and gunning doing the most touristy thing ever. We got to stay for free everywhere, all the nights there, in a house that Joe Turtletop is going to be living in. Shout out to Joe T. And we were with the people that I got to know 2 years ago for when we went there last time. So it was really, really special. We got picked up by Anam, Eka, and then the whole gang of who I got to hang out with was there as well. And so it was a really, really sweet time. But we also did some really, really fun stuff, adventurous things.
How we got there is we essentially pulled 2 all-nighters in a row.
Worth noting.
Yes.
We were really tired
Yeah.
I think we slept a lot in Indonesia, for being honest.
after that 2 days. after that.
We managed to catch up because we had our flight from the Philippines there. We had 5 nights from midnight to 5 a.m. in the airport. We just took the dirtiest nap in the corner, just
On the
on our
ground.
backs. Yeah, we actually slept decently well.
That was in Jakarta. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was bad.
And then got there. Luckily, we got to take a nap, and then got to eat some more really local food
The whole time.
the whole time. Really like a lot of fish, just like cooked fish. You just kind of pick it apart and take the bones out and eat it, which was cool. And then we went. Oh, Barnes, you want to talk about the dinner? The dinner that stayed with us
Oh,
for like the
man.
next 9 hours.
Okay, so we'd gotten there and then we spent one full day, and then before we kind of went on our main adventure for Indonesia, they took us to a seafood restaurant, a local place, where they proceeded to order probably 4 fish, a couple dishes of different kinds of shrimp, some squid, and then these clams. They were clams. They called them oysters, but they were definitely clams in like a half shell. And so they ordered a ton of food for us. There's also like beds of rice and like sweet tea and all this really good stuff. And so we were eating, really feasting, great food. We loved it. Just another local meal. And they kept pushing like the clams and like the shrimp on us. They're like, eat more, because it's kind of like customary. First off, if someone offers you food, you have to eat it, regardless of whether you want it or not. And second off, there was just a lot of it, and they didn't want to waste it. And so we were just pounding these clams, just one after the other,
So salty and rich.
stuffing our stomachs to the brim. And then with that stuff in our stomach, we went on to do our next adventure. But the taste and like the smell and the whole rich aurora of the whole thing stayed with us for probably a day after that. And every time you burped, every time you inhaled, you like tasted it. And so
Just like licked your lips. Right?
it was a memory we didn't leave behind for sure.
Yeah, but we did leave that night after that meal to go to Mount Bromo, which is a volcano about 3 hours away from Surabaya. We were in this like kind of suburb, Plano, if you will. It's called Sidoarjo, which is south of Surabaya. And so we left there at midnight, took a car that was about 2 to 3 hours drive in the middle of the night, which we didn't sleep a minute of because of how bumpy the ride was. And so we were having like, all of our food just in a blender.
Barnes managed to. He was like.
Yeah, he was falling asleep. Me and JD were
He
not
slept at
falling
times.
asleep, and I felt terrible. And then we got into this Jeep around like, we stopped and me and JD crashed in the back of the Jeep, but we didn't leave until I'd say 4 or something like that. And we drove up more crazy mountain driving, and we made it to the sunrise over this like mountaintop. It was really beautiful sunrise. And then afterwards, when the sun was up, the Jeep took us to the base of Mount Bromo. We got to climb up it, and then they took us around the volcanoes and we went to this like savanna, gorgeous kind of lookout of all of this Indonesian kind of hillside. And it was just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Got to take a nap there again, and that was really, really fun. And then we came back, Surabaya. We were there for another 2 nights, day and a half again.
Mhm.
So
And it took forever to get home from
Oh
that
my
trip.
gosh.
That trip was an eternity.
Yeah, tell them about the drive back.
Yeah. So first of all, we kind of finish up everything around 9, so we just got some time to kill. So we're kind of like,
I'm going to eat breakfast.
we ate breakfast, just kind of walked around, looked at stuff. It's like, all right, they come at noon. We got some time to kill. Finally gets to noon. Driver's not showing up. Luckily, we get to kind of take another dirty nap, just kind of
on the porch of this house.
Yeah.
That was the dirtiest nap I've ever taken.
And there's flies
Flies all over
everywhere. So you're like, a fly's like, you're just like, oh, we're trying to cover like every inch of our body with clothes.
It was so dirty.
It was disgusting.
We were so tired to where you could take a nap on the tile floor of a front
yeah,
porch.
we were
exhausted. That was like kind of the peak of us staying up kind of 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, like that was really.
Very tired.
And so
The valley, rather.
the driver finally shows up at 2:30.
No, we did.
And then, so we're driving back, and it's like
Insanity driving.
Yeah.
Literally
we
insanity.
like almost killed.
I stayed awake because I thought we were going to crash and I wanted to see it.
And I was in the front seat, and there were moments where the guy was just, it was
He probably
skilled driving.
easily
if we're
could have
being
killed 10 motorcyclists.
Yeah.
Easily.
And a huge blue truck that one time.
Yeah.
honest. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah. So took forever, and then the inevitable actually happened when he hit this moped guy.
Two guys on a motorcycle.
Yeah, 2 guys on a motorcycle. Found out, it's kind of, we're trying to figure it out. I think it was their fault. So he asked to see their like ID and insurance cards, and then just steals them and gets in his pocket, and then just drives to this body, like 3 different body shops.
Basically held him hostage after we had the wreck.
Yeah, and these poor
The guys were like our age.
if not even younger. He's just chewing them out. We got some of it on video, him just like laying into him.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like they weren't going to pay, and then just out of sheer just determination, these guys finally folded and agreed to pay for the damages.
They were like our age, and it felt kind of bad for them. But we ended up getting it back at like 5:30. So roughly 2.5 hours later than anticipated, which was fun. But what was really, really good is that this is like a house church of people that is formed, and so it was really fun. We got to be a part of some really cool worship sessions, some really cool just time and accountability between them and their lives and how they are growing in their faith, sharing the gospel with people that they know. Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world, and so it's a very saturated Muslim country. We got to hear a ton of mosques, call to prayer, just constantly kind of going on. Everyone's dressed. The girls have kind of their head covering and veil on, and so it was a very, very unique culture. And honestly, the city of Surabaya is not tourist friendly. I know we're going pretty heavy on this one, but it's not tourist friendly, which is really cool. So we got to feel like we were really in their culture, and so that was Indonesia. Was there?
Yeah. So we had one more day there, and we went to bed at 8 o'clock that night. We didn't do anything. We like had some food and went to bed, and then we woke up at a decent hour the next morning to drive into town on the Scoopy, the little scooters that Anam and Eka had for us. They were incredible hosts the whole time. So gracious, so giving. They like wanted us to use their stuff. It was
Crazy generous.
really cool. Really refreshing too, just to, like have some people that like cared about us on this trip. And so we took the Scoobies in. We rode them first to a mall where we kind of had some Wendy's for lunch. Yeah, I said it. We ate Wendy's in a mall in Indonesia. It was really weird. It was great though. Hamburger. We missed it. And then we kind of chilled and read at a coffee shop. And then we did one of my favorite things, just because of how interesting it was. We went and toured a cigarette factory, more of like a clove factory, like a really like old-fashioned thing. You could tell a family had developed this one style of tobacco and had like sold it to all of Indonesia. And it was a really cool thing to like walk through their factory.
And the family apparently lives in Houston.
Yeah, the family
so
lives in
Matt's
Houston.
going to get connected with them.
Yeah, they had like a mansion in Houston, apparently. We're not exactly sure. And so we're like kind of walking through this thing. We ended up kind of stopping in their cafe and had some tea and just enjoyed life there for a little while. And then we took the Scoobies back in rush hour traffic. I was on the back of JD's, and it was an adventure getting back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No wrecks. We made it out there safe, but the driving in Indonesia is way crazier than anywhere I've ever seen. Like more motorcycles than cars, and so everyone's just zipping in and out of everything, going really fast, stopping really fast. It's just an adventure.
You got to bring your A game. If you're timid, you'll get eaten alive.
owned.
So there's like maybe like this wide of passageways. You just gotta just cut
zip
through it.
them.
Especially since we were like following people.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty scary. And then I was driving with Matt on the back, so it was like 180 extra pounds for everything.
Yeah.
Made it like pretty like okay, stop. I gotta like waddle up with like every turn is like, but I started to get the hang of it. But it was a wild.
It was a blast.
Barnes was a trooper because I'm sure like either
He
if I
almost
was on the
died.
back and I had to just like sit there, no control over the situation, I would have maybe had a heart attack.
Yeah,
It's
it was
pretty
fun
freaky.
though. And I think that kind of wrapped up our time in Indonesia.
It's a good time overall. It was the middle of our trip, essentially, out of 5 locations. And so we now are on the second half of our trips to Asia, and we'll document them in our next video. Coming at you real quick.